Another Tuesday tea at 2. Season 3, episode 10. The number of new cycles, new beginnings, and we are almost on our way to spring. If you're in New York, you definitely felt it today, but definitely yesterday. It was absolutely gorgeous. I was at Prospect Park by the lake, tapping in with Oshun and the geese and the swans, and it was absolutely awesome. Grounded my feet. And it's been the full, winter season that I've been able to actually be outside and grounding my feet. I have grounding mats, but I was able to ground with Earth Mother. So I was very, very grateful for that first grounding session for the season, a little bit early. So I'm welcoming spring early anyway. I will be sharing a little bit more of an announcement later that is in honor of spring in regards to my art, which you can see I'm wearing. I've been wearing my art these days. So I'm destroying and enlightening some old sweaters and stuff with some paint, and it's been really fun. So we are tapping into a very magical March. So we're leading into spring equinox. We've got retrograde season back on. We've got eclipse season upon us in Pisces, going into Aries seasons. And this is our astrological new year coming up. So very potent energy. The number 3 energy is about creation. It's about community. It's about teamwork. So when we think of March being the energy of the number 3, we had our 3-3 portal, we had our 3-6-9 portal, we had our 3-9-9 portal. So all of these alignments, all of these energies in the month of March is extra abundant, especially with our Venus retrograde and then Mercury retrograde coming in on the same energy, given the fact that they are both in Aries and going into Pisces in the retrograde motion. So when we're tapping into that, it's all about emotional intelligence. It's about being able to speak our hearts ultimately, right? Mercury is about our thoughts and about communication and about addressing things. And Venus is all about love and about relationships, about our finances as well. So making sure that we are getting things across in the most abundant way, the most loving way, the most kind way. Retrograde gives us a moment of kind of thinking things through, feeling things through before we say anything, before we do or act hastily, depending on how you say it. So it's a very powerful time, again, especially with now Mercury going to be joining Venus in retrograde motion all around a very powerful lunar eclipse. So 3:13 to 14, depending on your time zone. For us in the Eastern Standard Time, it's going to be 3:14 at 2:55 a.m. We're going to have our Virgo full moon, storm moon, lunar eclipse. Very powerful, very combustible. Again, which is why it's that much more particular in regards to a Venus retrograde and then our Mercury retrograde, which comes in the day after at 2:46 a.m. It's very augmenting energy when we look at the number in terms of the time, 246, the numbers going up, bouncing in regards to even numbers, right? But there's a double-edged sword in regards to this augmenting energy, because as much as something can go up, when something goes up, something comes down, right? So again, in regards to the emotional intelligence that is so required during this time, it's that much more particular to make sure that if you want the energy to stay up, if you want a certain relationships to, stay healthy and stay harmonious, then you want to go with the up. And that means don't avoid. That means communicate. That means express. That means speak from the heart. It doesn't mean silent treatment. This is a time with Mercury and Venus in retrograde motion in Aries, the sign that rules Mars, that rules war, that can ultimately completely destroy or debilitate a relationship. If you are not being honest, if you're not being open, if you are not leading from the heart. Ego and pride and avoidance and all of these things is the absolute worst. And beyond the fact that it can harm a relationship in terms of how it's in the moment, it's very hard to repair when silence is chosen, when a lack of communication, when anger or ego or pride is chosen during this time. The name of the game is emotional intelligence. So I send that your way only if you want to preserve a dynamic. If you don't want to blow it to hell, hey, this is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. But if you want to heal something, if you want to preserve something, if you want to repair something ultimately, or make sure that you're not doing something that's going to cause irreversible repair, emotional intelligence is the way to go. And put your pride aside and your ego aside, and do the right thing if you feel that this is a dynamic or relationship that means something to you or meant something to you, that you would like for it to mean something for you again. So that's that. And again, with eclipse season, we've got double eclipse, the 14th for our full moon, and then the 29th for our new moon in Aries is going to be very combustible. This is the energy. Again, tapping into Aries, especially with the new moon coming in. Aries, again, rules Mars, rules war. So there's going to be a high potential for this eclipse season to create more conflict, which is, again, why it's so important to align with emotional intelligence. I always tap into the alignment when we think about when you make a choice in a particular relationship, that you have a choice to react or you have a choice to respond. There's a third that oftentimes people choose to do, and that energy like this can kind of infuse, and that's retaliate. So you've got three choices in any situation, in any dynamic. You can respond, you can react, or you can retaliate. And at the end of the day, you will know what the chances are of a particular outcome, cause and effect, based on the choice that you make, and especially in regards to the potential preservation of that relationship. So keep it in mind and heart. This is, again, we're tapping into spring equinox. We're tapping into equilibrium and equality and balance and divine masculine and divine feminine coming into union. So it's extra important to have the discernment to make sure that you are being fair, that you are thinking about the balance, that you are thinking about all parties involved, and not just somewhere licking your own wounds or putting yourself in a victim mentality, or again, wanting to avoid a particular thing because there could be more harm that's caused versus what it is that you think you're avoiding, right? So all of that to say, I give thanks first and foremost to you all for being here. YouTube, thank you so much. Appreciate you. IG, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, that's the vibe. That's what's going on. March is full of a lot of magic, but March is full of a lot of bit of madness too. So be mindful, be soulful, be heartful. We're tapping into Fennel for this week. Fennel is an alignment with Virgo. Our full moon is going to be in Virgo, our eclipse. So Virgo also is ruled by Mercury. So you want to tap into, again, the communication and being as honest and as fair and heart-centered as you can be in regards to the things that you're choosing to say and do as you go through this energy, particularly eclipse season. So tap into some Fennel. It's really good for digestion. And the irony when we think about digestion is that we're not just digesting the things that we eat or drink per se. We're digesting social media. We're digesting things that people tell us. We're digesting the things that we see and the visuals and all of these things. And sometimes it's hard for us to digest something that someone tells us, right? Even if it's constructive criticism. Sometimes it's hard. So the irony is when we tap into having some type of aid to be able to digest something, Fennel will help you on the physical aspect of digestion and helping you digest something that you ate, but it can also help you digest something that you might not necessarily want to receive, that is triggering you in some ways. That at the end of the day, it's important to look at not just what's said, but who is saying it, the message, the messenger, and what the agenda potentially could be, for the good and for the bad. If you can attest to this particular person having your back, being honest, being good, being kind, then even if they say something that's not what you want to hear, you might want to be a little bit more open to it because of the source, because of where it's coming from, versus somebody saying something to you, even if it's good, that doesn't necessarily have your back or hasn't really looked out for you in the past, because there may be something underneath that compliment or whatever it is. So don't just receive things and let your ego receive things because it feels good, or it sounds good, or it's what you want to believe. Or on the flip side of it, deny something because it doesn't feel good, because it's something that your ego doesn't want to believe, right? So that's the balance. That's what, again, this equinox energy, equilibrium energy, the balance energy is all about and preparing us for, and tapping into, again, Mercury, Venus, in conjunction, in retrograde energy come the 15th. Both of them will be in retrograde. And the slow up that is required for us to be discerning, for us to tap into the response versus the react or retaliate. Okay? It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. Fennel's really good for heart health as well. So again, perfectly timed when we think about digestion. When our heart is happy, when our heart is a little bit more healed, when we're tapped into our emotional intelligence, the intelligence of our emotions makes it easier for us to swallow and digest something that we don't necessarily want to accept. So again, the emotional intelligence is going to be so pivotal during this time and just beneficial for yourself in general and in regards to the relationships that ultimately matter to you. And only you get to decide which relationships matter to you. But be mindful that you don't let pride and ego and these things be in a moment to make you cause a lot of irreparable damage to a relationship that you find out and feel later actually meant more to you than you realized, but you were in reaction or retaliation mode, and now there's kind of no turning back, right? So Fennel's good for eyesight as well. And every time I tap into eyesight, it's not just these two eyes, right? It's the third eye as well. So tap in to seeing things beyond. This is again part of the emotional intelligence. It's seeing things beyond, receiving things, the digestion of things, right? That it's not always as easy, but you want to look beyond yourself, beyond the ego and these things so that you can receive it. All of it's going to, again, augmenting energy. It's only up from here. If you allow yourself ultimately to receive something that isn't necessarily as comfortable as you want it to be, but you can acknowledge there's some truth to that, especially again, if the source is reputable and if the source, kind of had your back and is a genuinely good, kind, honest person. So good for antioxidants, inflammation, for any nursing mothers. It's great for adding to your milk supply. Fenugreek is good for that as well. So you can combine the two and it helps with mama's milk. So tap in for that. Tapping into Fushite for our crystal to align with Fennel. I'm seeing some hearts. Thank you for the hearts. Appreciate you. So when we tap into Fushite, you're connecting with heart healing, you're connecting with joy, you're connecting with compassion, and again, that equilibrium, the heart-centered leadership, the emotional intelligence, compassion, empathy, all of these things that again are so required to preserve relationships that matter to you and to make sure that you're not causing harm or detriment based on ego and pride and these things that, try to protect us in a moment, but then end up, making us lose things and people that matter to us in the long run. So that's that. And I give thanks again to you. I give thanks to Baba Ozain, the Orisha of everything that is green and grows. Asheo. And then we're going to tap in to these cards. I think that's it for our alignments. Spring equinox, I did mention 3:20. So Thursday, March 20th is our spring equinox at 5:01 a.m. So definitely tap into the energy of balance and equilibrium and equality. 3:29 is our solar eclipse in Aries at 6:58 a.m. So eclipse energy, eclipse season is here. And it's going to be quite combustible. Heads up on the combustible. Because eclipse season kind of does that anyway, but we're tapping into Pisces going into Aries, and particularly thinking about an Aries solar eclipse, new moon energy. It's gonna be hot. March is usually like that. Again, March brings in this energy of community and teamwork, and this is where also when you think about community and teamwork, where things can preserve and get stronger, or things can fall apart, which is again why we tap into the energy of augmenting energy versus the declining energy that can happen. As above, so below, right? So as things go up, things can potentially go down. So keep that in mind and heart as you tap into these energies. So I'm gonna shuffle as you see here. Somebody give me stop top, stop bottom. Cards are flying out, but they're not single. Oh, until they are. You got it. Sorry. Spirit gave it to us. You know, I always take it when it's single, when it comes out on its own. So we're going to tap in. I do have a studio session, so I'm going to actually clip this very soon after our declarations and angel numbers. So good that Spirit gave it to us. We've got the law of Dharma. Transform your pain into your purpose. Transform your pain into your purpose. This is alchemy. And ultimately, everything is alchemy because it's about choosing how to make something into something else. Whatever it is, I think about the energy of co-curating and co-creating. When we co-create, we can make something completely new that is out of nothing. But when we talk about co-curating, it's kind of like dealing with the cards that you're dealt, working with what you got and figuring out how you're going to move things around, how you're going to switch it up, how you're going to transform it, how you're going to display it, how you're going to merchandise it, whatever it is, right? And you don't just look at this. It's that same energy of turning lemons into lemonade, the coal into a diamond. This is the chrysalis energy. When the butterfly comes out of the chrysalis, all of this is transformation. It's metamorphosis. And we can take absolutely anything that we're given, beyond the things that we can create on our own, what we're given, we can transform it into something else. So even our pain, and in many ways, especially our pain, because it is through the challenge that change comes. When the butterfly comes out of the chrysalis, it is not a happy, happy, joy experience. They gotta fight their way through that. And they also have to do it alone. And that's the thing that's so interesting and the most when we think about our pain and how we have to go through something to come through the other side. The butterfly, if that butterfly gets the slightest bit of help coming through that chrysalis, if somebody just takes a little scissors and snips at that chrysalis, the butterfly doesn't gain the muscle and the strength that it needs to be able to fly. And that it'll be grounded until it dies, until it transitions. So you kind of have to let people heal, let people experience their pain sometimes, and sometimes it is actually the best way to help them. And likewise, for ourselves, we have to feel it to heal it. We have to allow ourselves to go through the pain and just look at it, face it to replace it, and decide what is it going to be instead. How am I going to flip this, right? So when we tap into this card and Dharma, thinking about duty, Dharma means duty. What is your duty in regards to yourself, in regards to your purpose, in regards to your soul's mission? That's the true duty that you have. Ultimately, it is all about you. Yesterday's Momentum Monday declaration was about it's all a game, but I'm not a player, I'm the programmer. So when you tap into your programmer alignment and energy, yes, life is a game. Yes, this shit is a simulation, right? But you're not just playing this game. You're not just Mario jumping up and down and getting mushrooms and stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you are the coder. You are the programmer. You are the one that is dictating this matrix. You are managing this matrix. So how are you doing it? What is the code? What is the algorithm? What are you transforming? What are you switching up and flipping in regards to your duty? Duty to yourself, first and foremost. Duty to spirit, to your ancestors, to the creator. Duty to your friends, your family, your children, your partner, your work, your career, whoever and whatever, as long as it's what you deem is duty, that you deem is dharma. And that is why it is that much more important for you to tap into the pain so that you can decide what it is that you need to clear, that release to increase energy, so that you can come into transforming this into pleasure, come into transforming that into power. And that is where life begins. Doesn't mean there's not going to be more pain, but that just means more life. And that's incredible. So any bit of pain that you might be feeling, it's another piece of the puzzle that is going to create and manufacture this whole you, that is going to program this whole you. Because through this game, again, remind yourself that you are the programmer. You are not the player. You are so much more. And it's your life at the end of the day. You we super duper. You know what I'm saying? So come into that alignment. Tapping in here as well, when you look at this card, it connects to the strength card in tarot, because I look at this maiden and the lion. And the strength card in tarot is all about this gentle maiden taming the beast. And if you can come into an alignment of recognizing, let's say that this beast is your pain, that you can tame that pain, that you can transform that fierceness that you are feeling, that agony, that sadness that you are feeling into triumph, into success, into love, into joy, into whatever it is that you decide that it's going to become now, because you are the programmer in this game. That is empowering. And that is dharma. That is your duty. It is your duty to transform whatever it is that is unfavorable for you, that you are feeling in a moment, however it is that you can. But it is that much more important, again, when we tap into the energy of emotional intelligence, particularly that's being taught to us through this month and through these retrogrades and through these eclipse energies. When you are emotionally intelligent, you can look at your pain. You can sit with your pain. You can face it to replace it. It is only from that place. It is only from that moment in that experience that you're going to be able to really decide, what is it? What does it feel like? Why do I feel this way? And how do I transform it? How do I take this pain and make it part of my purpose? Dharma is duty. Dharma is purpose. It is literally what you're here to do, what you're here to figure out. All of those pieces of the puzzle is part of your peace of mind. So take all of those pieces, and even though they might feel discombobulated and you might feel like you're fragmented, all of the pieces are there. The pieces are there. You are at peace. It is all there. So just tap into that energy of every piece is part of your peace. And that includes the pain, and that includes the purpose, and that includes the power, and it includes the pleasure, it includes the prosperity, it includes the protection, all of that, right? It's reminding me of my 8P oil, which is all about protection, power, purpose, potency, all of the P's, which is this magical oil right here. So if you want to get you one of these magical oils right here to bring in the alignment of all of those magical P's, get at your girl, because this is what's up. This is absolutely what's up. It is 2:22, right on. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Balance and harmony surrounds me. Ashe. So, I transform my pain into my purpose. I transform my pain into my purpose. I transform my pain into my purpose. There it is right there. How are you going to transform whatever pain you are feeling into purpose? How are you going to alchemize the energy? How are you going to program this game instead of just play it? That's the question. That's the work. That's the dharma. That's the duty. And it's time. So I do have to wrap up, like I said, shortly after. So I'm just going to check the time for us. I usually have you guys choose, but 2:23 is the time that I'm seeing. So I'm going to give us our angel number, and then I'm going to bounce and get to the studio. 2:23, calm down. It's okay to take breaks. Your angels are alerting you to your anxiety. They want you to take inventory of what you can let go of so as to avoid overdoing things. Work on your breathing today as a way to center yourself. Take 3 deep cleansing breaths and repeat this mantra. I am peaceful. I am safe. Were we just talking about peace? Weren't we just talking about the pieces for the peace? All of the pieces of the puzzle to find your peace of mind? It's all about peace. It's all about calm. It's all about taking a moment. It's about retreat. It's about just stopping. That's what retrograde energy teaches us as well. This is about the feel it to heal it. This is about the, face it to replace it. Everything that we're talking about confirmed for us here. So I'm going to read it to you again. And I would advise, because this is also going to help with the emotional intelligence, especially in a moment when our ego is charged and our pride is there, when we're feeling how are we and we're feeling self-righteous because somebody told us what we don't want to hear. Whatever it is, take that moment, breathe, be calm, be easy, and make sure that you are in a place where you can respond instead of react or retaliate, because that will more likely than not make the very situation that is triggering you worse than what is actually happening. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. So calm down is our message from our angels. It's okay to take breaks. Your angels are alerting you to your anxiety. They want you to take inventory of what you can let go of as to avoid overdoing it. Work on your breathing today as a way to center yourself. Take 3 deep cleansing breaths and repeat this mantra. I am peaceful. I am safe. I am peaceful. I am safe. I am peaceful. I am safe. 3 cleansing breaths. So we're tapping into the energy of the number 3, or in the 3rd month. We had our 3-3 portal, our 3-6-9 portal, our 3-9-9 portal. This is about community building. This is about teamwork. It's about coming together and making sure, again, that we're not in energies of reacting and retaliating to destroy relationships that ultimately do mean a lot to us. And it's sometimes we can cause a lot of irreparable damage when we allow our ego and our pride and our self-importance and self-righteousness and whatever it is in a particular combustible moment that, again, is very much what the energy is this month with the retrogrades and with the eclipse season. So it's, fair warning, heads up, ultimately, to make sure that you're preserving your peace, but preserving your relationships at the same time. So I hope that helps. Hey, Black Mel, how you doing? What's up? Hello, only Micaiah. Welcome. Thank you. I'm wrapping it up. I see y'all. Hi, Mariella. What's up? Ali Riza, welcome. I didn't get to give all the shout outs. I missed some people, but I appreciate you. And I'm going to go. That's it for this week. I do hope to see you. I'm still doing the Rising Sign live at 5 every Sunday. So if you'd like to tap in and know your rising sign, I will be doing oracle observations, quick messages every Sunday live at 5, so that you have a heads up on things to pay attention to keep most in mind and heart, to help everything rise into place for your week ahead. So that will be done every Sunday live at 5. And I'm also working on my next art exhibition. So that is going to be opening reception on the equinox. So spring equinox, that's 3/20. At 6 o'clock, 6 to 9 p.m. in Brooklyn. So if you're interested, DM me, email me backiinatural@gmail.com, or hit me up wherever you're seeing me here, and I'll show you the details. And you can come and see some of my art up close and personal. It's going to be celebrating new growth and the colors of spring on canvas. So come and hang with me. It'll be nice. It'll be fun. So that's it. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much, as always. And in the meantime and in between time, lest we forget, time to get back to natural. Peace.